Now, it's my contention that this is not really a religious liberty bill. It's part religious liberty. But, the thing is that if you read the legislation, what the legislation says is not the same that what Governor Jindal is saying and what Jindal's writing to the New York Times and saying in Iowa and Oklahoma and all that. This is not a religious liberty bill only. This is a bill that deals with a person's, the way they feel, their conscience. Now, are we there to protect conscience, or are we there to protect religious liberty? I think it's a phony argument that the governor has been making. If they only wanted this to be religious liberty, then they should have scratched out the operative, which is or conscience. And without doing that, it means that anybody can say, gee, I just don't have the conscience for this. I don't believe in doing this. Has nothing to do with religion at all.
And that is, while you're focusing on all this, we had 4 people shot in New Orleans East over the last few days. We had a police officer that was killed in the city of New Orleans. We have violence running amok in the city. We have crime that is out of control. Okay, you're blaming Jindal for not doing more, focusing on the economic problems. I'm blaming the city leadership for not doing enough on the number one problem facing the city of New Orleans, and that is public safety. The fact that we have got an absolute carnival of crime going on here. And you know what the national headlines were over the weekend, Steve, about the city of New Orleans? It wasn't about religious liberty. It was about a police officer killed right here in the city of New Orleans. That made national news all over the websites, all over the airwaves. Another black eye for the city of New Orleans. Mayor Landrieu's doing an executive order about religious liberty. What is he doing about police officers getting killed, Steve, and people getting killed all over the city of New Orleans, which I think is a much more pertinent, pressing issue that is being ignored?
So you don't think that trying to counter the negativity that is out there, where people are threatening to not come down to Louisiana because they think that we're a bunch of wackos, freaks, and rednecks, and you don't think that there's a value in just taking a few minutes and letting the world know that no,
you know what,
we're not like that. Oh, sure, look, crime
is to keep them safe where they don't get killed next time they come to a convention. That's the best way to keep the conventions coming, to make sure that people aren't robbed and raped and stabbed, which is going on constantly with tourists and locals. That's a nice way to keep them maybe interested in coming here.
Well, thank you, Jeff.
Where's the focus on that? When the world is being done about that issue? He's talking about religious liberty, which is that's so easy to do, Steve. The liberal media lapping it up, praising him. Oh, Mitch Landrieu, so wonderful. Such a great thing to do. And the real problems in the city of New Orleans ignored. The real problems not being addressed. That's my problem with Mitch Landrieu and what's going on here in the city of New Orleans.
Well, Jeff, what I can say is, you can blame Mike Johnson and Governor Jindal for engaging in such absolutely ridiculous political maneuvering, and especially Governor Jindal with an executive order. And sure, yeah, look, there's no question that what you're saying about in terms of New Orleans and the crime, that's a major issue. There's no question that's a major issue. But, he can chew gum and talk at the same time.
No, he can't. He can't. Okay. Because he's doing nothing about it.
Oh, he's doing nothing about it?
Yeah, he's doing nothing. We're still losing police officers. The crime rate is out of control. So what really has he done, Steve? NOLA for life is a big joke. Ms. Rhonda joins us in Mid-City. Hey, Rhonda, how are you? Good morning.
Thank you, Jeff, for taking my call.
Yes, ma'am.
Jeff, I couldn't agree with you more. I have always said when they brought the gay issue up the first time, I was wondering, why are we, when it started being like nationwide, I was like, you know what? I understand people want to deal with their what they feel like where they're being wronged at, but why are we worrying about what people are doing in their bedroom when, like you said, we have crime. It's totally a carnival. It is crazy. I mean, why? And I think they put that gay marriage issue and all this stuff out there, Jeff. That's a front to try not to talk about these issues. Housing, poverty. I mean, just this stuff.
The real truth is that smoking and like being gay and lesbian, it's stupid, it's foolish, it's unhealthy, it's dangerous, it's crazy, it's suicidal, and it turns regular people into thug zombies, just like the guy that murdered Officer James Bennett Jr.
To suggest that, that I am just trying to ignore other issues, look, from now on, I'm just going to say, well, excuse me, but we're just talking about Mayor Landrieu in New Orleans because nothing else is important. I mean, that's just absolutely absurd. It's what I believe. I believe, based on my observations, in decades worth, I believe that most of the situations I have seen, okay, gays are born that way. Sometimes it's not like that, but that's my. So wait.
There's a raging debate about that issue.
Yes, I understand that.
The environment or whether it's genetic and.
Okay, but
that's your belief. Okay.
And the point I'm making though is this: that if I am correct, if I'm correct, then I have a very difficult time saying that a person, based upon the way they were born, cannot enjoy the same rights.
We also have a legitimate point to make that this is getting a lot of attention, a lot of oxygen from the media, a lot of focus from people like yourself, people all over the country talking about this issue. My point is that I think it's getting much more attention than it should. I blame Governor Jindal. I blame what's going on in the state, but I also blame what's going on here. I think there are much more important issues to focus on, such as public safety, which doesn't get anywhere near the amount of attention it should get here, but gets a lot of attention nationwide, such as leading stories about a police officer shot and killed. So we're applauding Mayor Landrieu, and I had a caller earlier said one of the local talk show hosts was giving kudos to Mayor Landrieu for his executive order. Yet the real issue, the real problems, the real public safety, life and death issues, in my opinion, he's been an abysmal, complete, total failure. Okay? That's why I brought it up. That's why I was weaving it together. I think it is related. I think it is very, very important. And I think it's the number one issue facing the city of New Orleans. That's where I'm based. That's where this show is from. That's where this studio is located, in New Orleans. I have to walk 3 blocks past people that could be committing crime on me every single day. So it's an issue that I take very, very seriously. It's an issue that I'm going to continue to focus on as long as we have this show.
Okay, and that's fine. And so the next time the governor or anybody else starts to talk about religious freedom, okay, then please say the same thing that you're saying now. Why are you talking about this? Okay, we have crime in the city. I can't walk 3 blocks without being concerned about getting killed.
Not just me.
Why don't you
everywhere.
Everybody in New Orleans. Please raise the issue then.
Steve, I have raised this issue ever since I've had a column on your site, ever since I've had a show. It's been one of the top issues that I've focused on.
That's not what I'm saying, and you know that's not what I'm saying.
Listen, I'm not a fan of Governor Jindal or Mayor Landrieu, okay? I'm trying to be even-handed, okay? I don't want to bash just Governor Jindal. I think that's too easy. Okay, we've got to focus on what's going on here in New Orleans, too. Let's take some more calls. Kevin joins us in Mid-City. Kevin, welcome. How are you? Good morning.
All right. 2 points I'd like to make. Number one, I mean, as far as it being a distraction, I mean, distraction works both ways. I mean, this is a distraction for Jindal as far as, like, not, the budget should be more of an issue than this.
I agree.
I'll move on to this bill. And, where do we draw the line with this bill? Does a Jew not get to serve a Muslim? Does a Muslim not get to serve a Jew? If I'm a teacher and I don't agree with a student's lifestyle? Do I not have to teach the student? If I'm a doctor and I don't agree with my patient's lifestyle, do I refuse medical treatment? You're talking about somebody's life in your hands. And it's, I was brought up Catholic. I believe I'm very familiar with the teachings. You see a lot of bumper stickers or things on people's cars. What would Jesus do? I mean, what would Jesus do? I mean, deep down in your own heart, think about it. If Jesus was the baker and a same-sex couple came in, do you think Jesus would not bake the cake? That's ridiculous. Jesus would bake the cake. All right? You're supposed to have compassion. You're supposed to have tolerance, especially with things you don't agree with. And everyone who is so adamant about not serving someone because of their religious beliefs is doing the anti-Christian thing. And it's obvious. And, any excuse anyone wants to make up, they go ahead and make it up. But that's anti-compassion, that's anti-tolerance, and that's anti-Christian.
Well, I mean,
I'd like you to answer.
I appreciate. I'm going to answer. I appreciate your view. I disagree with you. Okay, that's your view on what Jesus would do. So, as far as this bill goes, Daniel, which is what we're also, do you think this obviously wasn't passed by the legislature? Governor Jindal passed his executive order. Mayor Landrieu sent his executive order to negate what Governor Jindal did. Do you think, where do you think this is going to go from here?
Well, naturally, everybody's going to knock it down, okay? But only 2%, I think, or 3% of the people in the United States, they say are gay. Why are you forcing this upon 97%? If I don't want to bake a cake, if I don't want to take pictures of it, I could, I should have a right not to do it. Or look at the Muslim religion. They have a right, according to their religion, to come kill every Christian and Jew. Now, is that right? But, Brock's bringing them into the United States. They got busloads of them coming in here right now.
On our friend James in Metairie. James, good morning, sir.
Jeff, good morning. I wasn't going to get into this, but you're right. It is a distraction. First of all, who started this fight in the legislature? It was the Christian conservatives, the radical Christian conservatives, who I'm sure if there are any ISIS members around, certainly agreed with the radical Christian conservatives to go after the gays and lesbians in this state. As Steve, as an attorney, I'm trying to find this right now. Federal law, the government. Not God, the government affords people in the workplace, all Americans, certain protections that they can't be fired. And there's certain categories of people. Let's see. Race, gender, national origin, disability, religion. You can't fire somebody for being a Christian conservative. You can't fire them for being a member of ISIS. Genetic information or age, and there's a few others. So let's see, Bobby Jindal. He's covered with gender, number one. He's covered with national origin. He's covered with his religion. He's covered with, let's say, age and genetic information. This guy is covered by federal law, not by God, but by federal law, the people's representatives. He can't be fired. But he and guys like the Ayatollah, Reverend Gene Mills and others, they want to deny certain people they hate the same rights that they enjoy. That's something that really gets to me, okay? They want to deny these people, people they don't like, federal law rights, okay? And the other thing, Jeff, as far as abominations, I think somebody used that term. We could go on and on and on. What's in the so-called Bible, okay? Whether it's Old Testament, this is old stuff, right? Okay, whatever, lying with a man, woman, whatever, that's an abomination. Bad news, okay, in the belief system. But, so is eating shit.
Well, let me ask you something, James. Why do you think we're spending so much time, not just as a state, but as a nation, being subjected to discussion about gay marriage? Why is this such an issue where Ted Cruz gets peppered with it by a local reporter? And you have it over and over and over again. Why is this such an obsession across the nation right now, James?
Because Ted Cruz is the one, and just like Johnson and Jindal, they're the ones who are pushing it. It's nobody else is doing it.
Ted Cruz, I mean, I've seen Ted Cruz give lots of speeches, Steve. He might touch on that issue. He pushes much more other issues. He talks about the economy. He talks about his plans for taxation. He talks about what he would do for national security. He doesn't focus on the issue of gay marriage. Reporters are focusing on that.
Governor Jindal had 3 things he was focused on, and one was gay marriage.
I'm asking both of you. It's an obsession with the national media. It's an obsession in the national political world right now. James, why do you think that's the case?
Jeff, there's a huge change right now in society. Look, and in the world. Look what happened in Ireland over last Friday, right? The national referendum legalized same-sex marriage in a country. Now, Jeff, it's an emotional issue.
Okay, but here in Louisiana, 78% affirm traditional marriage. 52. Does that mean anything? Does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, it was a bad poll. That's what it means.
No, 78% in the last vote, Steve. The last time this was put before the voters, 78% affirm traditional marriage. Check it out.
Jeff, I think Louisiana was one of the last states to affirm and allow interracial marriage. That's where Louisiana's coming from, Jeff. But let me just say this. All
right, last minute, and then we got to roll. Go ahead.
Okay, I'd have a little more respect for the Reverend Gene Mills and his mob of radical Christian conservative activists if they would go before the legislature and propose laws that made illegal, as in the 10 Commandments, made adultery illegal and also made divorce illegal. You talk about hurting families. When those two things happen, I'll start having some respect for them.
That's James in Metairie. Steve Sabludowsky, thank you, sir. We'll check it all out at Bayoubuzz.com. We'll come back and wrap